That girl who is telling you that my love for you is bigger than any problems you're currently dealing with. Isn't it amazing? Love is fantastic. And I know it's like, oh, cheesy love. But when we hear it from their sessions, when we're connecting into the Arcturians and the Pleiadians and all the other collectives that are wanting to send their messages of love and inspiration and encouragement and wisdom to you, love's always on their minds. And it's quite hard for them to kind of convince you. So think about that when we're struggling, what is bigger than our problems? Because I know that so many of you are starting to notice changes that are happening financially and a whole lot of other sort of stuff. And it's starting to impact you. And when you were super cool and balanced with all the other things that have been sort of happening in the last few years, and now this, it's triggering, isn't it? So what are we focusing on? Are we focusing on the increases of prices, or are we focusing on our inner strength and our wisdom and our empowerment and our love of self and our love of others? Whew, we're busy, aren't we? We're very, very busy. But when it starts impacting us, this is when it gets real, very, very, very real. And so our relationship with love of self and our relationship with others, to love others and accept where they're at and to be able to honor their journey, but really focus on our own journey. I know so many people sort of spread their energy and their attention and their responsibilities out to everyone else and forget about themselves. And that can be very depleting. Also, when you're trying to reach out to people to hear their answers and solutions to your lives, that is all fine, because we love to hear other people's opinions, but isn't that kind of just empowering us at this point? We need to be able to find our own answers and our own sort of seek our own wisdom, because our opinions actually matter too. And when you're on this sort of journey of empowerment of self, it sort of seems to be we haven't really found our own voice, found our own likes, and we're trying to make ourselves feel normal around what other people are doing. And that doesn't quite really fit us. I know my pants won't fit you. And, nor should they, right? So it's kind of like life contracts, isn't it? We're here for very significant things and purposes. And so what are you trying to force yourself into that may not be suiting you, may not be the box you're supposed to be fitting into, for example? And I can see lots of people like other people's, roles and a whole lot of stuff, and that's fantastic. But are we checking, is that our own role? We love following other people and all this sort of stuff, but is this our own path? Is this our own journey? And have we got distracted from that? I know when we're trying to be, we like to have all the flavors of the ice creams and to sort of explore stuff and be inspired by stuff, but is this distracting us from our own core mission? And often it seems where people are very comfortable with their skill sets and who they are and why they're here, they're so comfortable with it, they dismiss it because that was easy. That just comes to me naturally. I want to do something harder because I don't value what is already here within me that I'm supposed to empower and expand upon. And, I feel like we've always got the potential to grow. And if we are not growing what we're here to do and to be, and we wanted to be a part of a certain thing for a certain way, if we're not doing that, we can't sort of then find, was kind of like our teams will push us back to complete this because we're sort of jumping ahead. And it seems like a lot of people are getting deeply lost because they have this assumption, free will and all, I can do X, Y, and Z. And your teams are sort of saying, wait a minute, get back to here, because this is what you've been working on all your life. And again, I want to say to you, when something comes very natural for you, to you, we don't sort of, we do a whole lot of things. We dismiss it. Oh, that's not special. I just always been like that. So we underestimate the significance and importance of it. We don't find it challenging as much, so therefore may not be as interesting to be able to go back and honor it. Or we are so disconnected of our true sense of who we are and purpose, we can't see the significance of it. So I think I just repeated that. Anyway, so this is why it's really great to find out who we are and why we're here and what we're supposed to be doing. And we can distract ourselves with 1,000 other things, but not be doing what we're supposed to be doing. And while it's free will and all, we're all here for a specific reason. And we've got specific roles. And it's very common for me to see people wanting to heal the world, but neglect their own families. And, your world really is the people that are in your lives. And, I see so many people saying, yeah, I love everyone. And I say, well, what else are you doing to support others? Have you supported a stranger who's really struggling online recently or something? And that's odd. Why would I want to acknowledge a stranger, empower a stranger, love a stranger? Why would I want to do that? Ugh. And oh, wow, surprise, we're here to love all. And isn't it easier to reach out to someone with just complete honesty of love and empowerment and support to a stranger, someone who's opening themselves up? I'm not too sure what channeling it was, but they were very firm about how our brothers and sisters who are awakening up profoundly at this moment are very, very discombobulated. And they're very scared, and they're afraid of, and this is one of the things I want to talk about. They're afraid of that their mental health, they suddenly lost their marbles, right? So they're terrified of what they're going through, what they're starting to notice and look around and sort of, be quite shocked with the state of the world and the agendas of the world. And this is happening for a lot of people. They're too scared to talk about it because they used to judge people that would say wacky things like their dreams or whatever, right? So we have to honor everyone's journey who are struggling at this time. And, we can understand and relate that, when we are tapping into other dimensional beings and asking them, what you're wearing today, subconscious? He's saying nothing and he's naked because he's in that mood today, and so am I. So, we're rolling with it. But the thing is that just for that example, someone could be like, well, she's obviously crazy, right? I know my state of mind. I know I do enough sessions for myself where I'm completely taking my subconscious, my consciousness and my conscious mind out of the equation. And I know that when I'm doing sessions as a client, it's not me at all. And I know that you guys who have, who know me personally, who hear me swearing a lot of times and, having my limited human perspectives, when you listen to the channeling, it's definitely not, I'm that girl Jo. So, fun times. So, if I had insecurities and if people around me were saying, oh, you're definitely got mental health problems because, multi-personalities and all this sort of stuff and labels and all that sort of stuff, that's their opinion. And I think a lot of people who didn't have the support that I have and who haven't been able to have the utter confirmation from my channelings and from years of doing sessions and work and having so many amazing clients to have been able to support blindly with blind sessions and all this sort of stuff, the information. And that's how I got my empowerment of faith and trust in this work, that Mr. Naked Subconscious enjoying his jokes, he is very real, very, very, very real. And so it is amazing, right? So, we love that, but we also know, and even through my own personal journey, I used to start a conversation when I wanted to talk about my sessions and stuff with people was, okay, so bear with me, it may sound a bit crazy, and I'd always try to buffer and introduce the conversation with, this may sound really woo-woo. I would try to apologize first about how crazy this is going to sound, but bear with me because I need to share something. And when I got over that hurdle of, excuse me, while I just say something super spiritual right now, when I actually got over that sort of nervous, hope they're open to it. When I got over that, then I set myself free. And I could just talk and knowing that at the end of the day, people can judge me whatever they want. That's fine. That's them. That's limiting their perspectives and whatever, love and light to them. But for me, I needed to get it out, and I needed to stop doubting myself and questioning myself, because I realized that focus is limiting me still. And the more I trusted the sessions, the more I grew as a person, and my consciousness and awareness expanded as well. And it takes some time. It definitely takes some time, and not being distracted with sort of future information, but focusing and honoring who I am as a person, and what my reactions are, what my insecurities are, and all that sort of stuff has been very, very challenging to be bold enough to ask, but very rewarding to actually unpack that, because every time they would answer the information, it was just such great perspectives that I'd never potentially considered before, like where I'd had that hang up and where I had that understanding and all that sort of stuff. And, we forget how we were taught when we were growing up. We forget the influences that helped us mold us to be the shapes that we are in these human meat suits now. So very, very, very interesting. And again, I'm a very passionate fan of quantum sessions. When they are done correctly with honor and integrity, they are profound, and I have seen many sessions where the clients have not touched any of their inner work. And I can see their subconscious is giving them such basic information that it's beneath them, really. But I mean, it's a small stepping stone, and all stepping stones are valuable. But I could see that the clients hadn't faced a lot of their own fears, hadn't dealt with a lot of their own personal issues. And so that was really holding them back. Now, I also know that's the same for the practitioners as well. And Dolores Cannon talks about this. The practitioners can definitely hold back sessions because they're afraid to ask questions. And, asking questions can be very scary because we don't know what the answers are. And we don't know if the client will be ready for it, let alone us. So, fun times. So what I also want to just say, and it seems to be sort of quite prevalent, and it's very challenging to talk about because it sounds like it's judgment, but I have seen and noticed many people who think that they're spiritually connected, and they're really not. And they're really, I guess I could add labels in here, and they've obviously got a mental illness and instability, confusion, and they're using their conscious minds to go into deep, deep fear. And when you haven't done enough of your own inner work to love yourself, to be honest with yourself and to be honest with others, then you can become quite reactive and overreactive and very sort of toxic within yourself. You'll be very victim mode and almost quite delusional with the perspectives of the world and what's going on. That we know that all is well, and we know that everyone here is having the most appropriate experiences for their life journey and contracts. And so someone who has got limited perspectives, and I'd prefer to say limited perspectives versus say like a mental illness, but I can see from some people that I'm aware of, they're really struggling with their mental health because they have got into some very interesting thought processes with their conscious mind. And because they are not empowered and they haven't done much of their inner work, it's very toxic within their sort of delusions. And I know this must sound very harsh and, sort of judgmental, but I can read people. I can read people's energies, and I can read what they're going through. And so when they're trying to sort of tell me that they're humble and they're connected and they've got a pure heart and all this sort of stuff, it's very interesting because if you truly are, you just you just flow with that, you shine with that, and the energy just radiates out through you. But when you're unstable and manipulative and being dishonest with yourself and have got a lot of inner work still, and not being accountable for your own actions and your own you're not responsible for anything that you've done, and you're again in that deep victim mode, this is when your vibration is so dark and so dense that it's very concerning. And, you know, I know that our teams tell people, you know, you can get off your antidepressants, and you can get off all of this medications because it's not really helping you at this stage in the sessions. But I also know when some subconsciouses say you need to be on medication because your mindset is so dark and so negative that you really need actual support. And when you're not open to hearing or accepting higher perspectives, and you're just such in a, you know, in a tragic victim mode, and the very attention seeking as well, so that, you know, they're distracting themselves so much with their own, you know, sort of integrity and intuition and true earnesty, you know, they're very struggling. And I find, ironically, those people who are truly are connected in worry that they have got, you know, mental instability. And then the people that would never consider their mental health status, you know, they delusional. It's awful, and, you know, really challenging to see this, because you can see the soul within the body, and it's just, there's so much going on, so much toxic thought processes, and can feel the teams trying to sort of really push on them to sort of grow. But, you know, even our teams cannot force people to do their inner work. And we use our free will to sabotage all lessons, all messages, all inspirations, and all epiphanies, and all growth. And when you're so fixated on other people and what they're doing and what they're saying, what they're thinking, and all this sort of stuff, and when you've got that victim mentality, it's sort of like, it's interesting, because it kind of like rewinds the inner work. And it's, you know, you go deep into the closet of, you know, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. So, you know, this is where I feel when people have woken up and they're starting to explore spirituality, they will stumble across some people that aren't truly connected, but know the words, and that they speak spiritual, but they're very unstable, insincere, and not connected. They're just talking through their egos and consciousnesses, and it's very interesting what their true agenda is, because sometimes I just think, oh, it's, you know, obviously for money, but it's actually it's more sort of sinister than that. They're actually wanting praise, worship, to be leaders, and all this sort of stuff, which they could do easily if they'd done enough of their own true inner work, and truly empowered themselves and loved themselves, and, you know, actually had done all of the inner work that, you know, most of us have done. So, yeah, it's very interesting, because how do you support someone who is constantly refusing to grow and be that victim? And, you know, you can support them, give them all the perspectives and all the insights that, you know, we share all the time in sessions and all the videos, but we just cannot get them to grow with high sort of perspectives and truth and honesty and earnesty and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, it's very interesting, but very sort of concerning how, you know, mental health and spirituality can be intertwined to various degrees. And it's kind of like the big egos and the small egos. The small egos who truly are connected in sort of just, oh, well, no, I've always sort of, you know, seen Nana who's died 20 years ago, and, you know, just thought that was normal kind of thing. I'm not normal, I don't want to talk about it. You know, those are the small egos. And whereas the big egos have truly no connection, are quite delusional with their insights and downloads, but they're just trying to get attention and to impress others. And it's, you know, that just suggests more inner work. But this is why we need to, you know, go within and empower ourselves and know our own connections, and you know, love everyone, but just accept that, you know, there are some people that, you know, still on their journey. And we have got a marvelous team who are happy to support and guide us in truth. And this is when I feel like even the big influencers should be doing sessions. I think everyone would have, you know, a real great appreciation of true sessions, and their true subconscious was channeled through them, and we got to hear the full truth. Because you know, human egos are cute and all, but extremely limited. And, that's the fun part of 3D, right? But are you noticing those limitations? And we don't have to judge them because, it must be very hard to be an influencer with really profound limited perspectives. And that's fine, because whoever has been drawn to them either get to learn how to discern between limited human perspective and ego versus a higher dimensional, chit chat. So fun times, right? So it's very interesting how people are experiencing and exploring the density. And as we have heard in sessions, if we do enough of our own inner work and have empowerment of self, true empowerment of self, and true love ourselves, and truly respect and honor ourselves, and realize we are responsible for our inner work, we are responsible for everything we've ever done, and we need to be accountable for it. And, if we've done something that's not so fantastic, own up to it. People aren't wanting apologies, people are wanting confessions, because if you're truly sorry about something, you'd be able to confess about it and really honor your part in it and be honest. But there's so much dishonesty in the world, and it seems like this is how people have been manipulated, and this is cycles that need to be broken. But will those cycles be broken in 3D? Time will tell. So it's all interesting, isn't it? We can get to see adults with inner broken children, and we have got such compassion for everyone at this point, because we see so many advanced souls struggling, and it's not pleasant. But all we can do is just love them and support them, knowing that this is their journey to empower themselves, and us sort of playing into their manipulation is just more disempowering to them, because we either got a choice. We either get to call them out on their bullshit, or we get to just let them live in their lives that they've created with the mindsets that they are stuck on, and know this is their journey, as painful as it may be for them, and it's as painful as it may be for us to watch them. There is points when people are not wanting to grow, and they've shown this time and time and time again. All we need to do is just remove the judgment, have the acceptance that that's where they're at, and just send them love, and know that their souls are going to be able to reflect back on their choices and decisions, and understand how truly hard and challenging their earth experience was. And we can have great compassion for all, because this is tough. This is absolutely tough. And this is why we need to celebrate truly all the people who have been able to successfully do the inner work. It is hard work, but it is so rewarding to be able to know we have grown, and to be able to look back at all the stages, and to be able to own all our stepping stones and all of our choices, to know our moral compasses, and to be responsible for who we are. And yes, of course, it's embarrassing looking back at our other choices that we have made, but how could we have grown if we hadn't have made those whoopsies? And so it is, all human, all normal, but this is an important time to be honest with yourselves. This is an important time to be honest with all, and to be able to share our truths. And of course, we know the friends that can't handle spirituality, and that's fine. We know our friends, and everybody needs love. And if they're not loving themselves, we can love them. But that fine dance between empowering someone and disempowering someone, we know that when we can empower someone constantly, empower them, but when they're not wanting to grow, and they're not wanting to stand up, and they're not wanting to heal, then that empowerment that we think we're giving to them with all our energy and all our integrity can actually be their disempowerment. And so, see the routines we're doing, see the relationships we have with friends and family. And if there has been past stuff that's sort of made things sort of sour, reflect on how we can empower them now, and how we could accidentally disempower them. And I know that lots of people are confused about, well, how am I supposed to love everyone, when these people are not wanting to grow? And ultimately, if we are entertaining them with our energy and interacting with them when they're not wanting to grow, we are disempowering them because they are not ready. And if we are dealing with too many people that are not wanting to grow, it's disempowering ourselves. And I don't know if it's really honoring ourselves. And, this is my conscious mind speaking through my mouth. And so, if I talk to my subconscious, maybe he would, have a higher perspective of that. And, no doubt, many others would. But this is a time to really honor ourselves. And when we do love ourselves, it's easier to make boundaries, and we can see those people who have misused friendships, abused friendships, and been entitled and a whole lot of stuff. And, we're not helping them when we allow them to have their bad behavior. And so, it's empowering to know that we used to do everything for everyone. And now we have to step back and allow them to do them, and to allow us to do us. Because while we know that they are struggling when there is no sign that they want to grow, they're dormant. And, it may feel like judgment, but it's an observation. You can tell when people want to grow. You can tell when people are stagnant, and you can tell when people are toxic. And, we need to honor our energy because we are empowering ourselves and others. And if there is someone that is trying to disempower us for their own agendas, this is not a time for that sort of indulgence. But, the old us wants to be supporting others and people pleasing, and this can very drain us. We've always, we've experienced that, right? For most of us. So, we know the difference between true empowerment. And, sometimes we screw it up and sometimes we ace it. And so each new situation is kind of like a test to see, are you following your intuition? Are you seeing and hearing and feeling what that person's all about and what they really need? And it's quite liberating and quite freeing to realize that no one else is your responsibility. We can't do other people's inner work. We can't hold them down and tell them to face your fears, all that sort of stuff, right? But we can just trust that they would know the basics of loving themselves, being honest with themselves, and empowering themselves. They will get to it at one point or another, but worrying about them will drop our frequency vibrations. We need to be high frequency vibrations, my friends. We deserve it. We've worked our asses off to get here, to be in balance and neutral. And so while we see many people struggling with the changes because everyone's been impacted now, finances, all sorts of bits and pieces, everyone's noticing the Grand Awakening. Some of them are not happy about it. And, it's all purposeful. It's all significant. So fun times. And while you, my dear friends, who are growing and empowering yourselves and really, enjoying life, because it's fantastic when we have done the inner work. It's so fantastic. Celebrate this. It's hard work and we got here. And of course, I can't imagine, oh, this is it. I'm sure there's always more growth and always more room for improvement and perspectives and wisdom and knowledge and information that we can gain now that we are not blocking ourselves and distracting ourselves with other people. And, we have to love everyone. But there is those people in the fringe that are so miserable that they're trying to rain on our parades. And, we don't know what collectives they are. We don't know what walk-in soul essence collectives they have now. There's so much that we could, understand about what's going on and why. And it's really good to be able to have still honor and integrity and compassion and love with all our responses and all our interactions, and see if we've been triggered or, how we're going with this. I feel like every day there's beautiful lessons and experiences and opportunities for us to keep shining and being in beautiful peace and balance and harmony, all as well. Okay, so I hope you're all drinking lots of water, because the density that we're absorbing from others is a lot. And so we want to just release that. We're just taking it from them and supporting them through it. And we don't even need to have a conversation with that. It's just about being in the energy fields and being able to support and help them. And the 15-minute meditation is so profound. I keep hearing it in sessions that the subconscious is saying, just keep doing that. Is so good for grounding. And of course, for those people who can go outside and get their feet on the earth, you'll know the difference of, truly deeply grounding into the earth physically like that. And just being able to be there outside. It doesn't have to be daytime. It can be nighttime. Notice, feel, and ask your body, what would you like me to do with you today? It might say, take me out on a date. You haven't done dinner and movie with me for ages. Like, listen to our bodies. They are sensing, they're sensing us, we can sense them. And while our souls are just in these meat suit vehicles for this moment in time, we want to honor them and find out, what can we do for the bodies? What can we do for our family, and what can we do for our beloved friends who we just adore and love and support? Because, life is beautiful when there is love in our hearts and love in our minds. And, it's fun. It is really fun. Life is great. And, I can only say that because of all the inner work that I've done and all of the perspectives that I have not just heard, I'm actually applying it. And I feel like I'm still getting there. I'm still learning as well, and getting routines going with that perspectives, and noticing my feelings and my thoughts and my reactions, of course, because I'm still human. But it's amazing how I'm not falling into the old traps and the old loops and the old emotional density that I used to. And I feel like that's so liberating. I love it. Anyway, thank you so much for all the amazing people who have jumped at the chance to have quantum sessions with me. That is fantastic. I am really looking forward to meeting you all again, and to be able to catch up with you and your families and find out what's going on for you now, and with your new sense of growth and your new inner work. Where we're going to go to next. It's so exciting. Okay. I hope you're having fantastic days and truly, honestly loving yourself and respecting yourself and healing yourself. Unfortunately, we can't do it for you. But as I said before, my love for you is bigger than all the problems in the world. It's a fact. Because I keep doing that 15-minute meditation and sending you love. Bye, my friends.